Hey, welcome back to Beholdle, everyone's favourite 3.5e D&D monster guessing game. We're still on a fresh streak. Yesterday's was really hard. If you didn't see yesterday's, go have a look. It was a tricky one. It was a named NPC, which is always a tricky area. And more than that, it was a named monster NPC, which is kind of even trickier in a way, because they don't always fall into the same sort of CR range. And like the overlap, like the tags and stuff, the subtypes tend to lead you towards the regular monster rather than the NPC version. It's tricksy, but that's how the game works. You know, sometimes you got to think outside the box a little bit. We should have been ready to veer off into named territory. Today we're going to start, as always, with my favorite starter, the huge water elemental. Oh, that's a lot of red. That's a huge amount of red. And an interesting bit of yellow, too. Environment, then. There's a pretty good chance this is... Pretty good chance is any land underground, any aquatic... However, the fact that it's high CR and low size sort of often points towards an NPC, but NPCs usually have an any environment, some exceptions. I'm also I'm tempted to lean towards undead as our next guests, because undead often do have any underground or any land underground as their thing. Maybe an aberration too. Often any underground for an aberration. So we could try smaller aberrations, things illithid adjacent. Where do we want to go first? We've ruled out the MM1. Now I know it's not going to match the CR, but I'm gonna go to one of my old favorites, the Boneclaw, one of my favorite undeads. Just because I feel like that might give us some good info here. There we go. My gut instinct was right. We're in undead territory. Large undead. Chaotic evil, so not necessarily mindless. So we're probably not looking at sort of... In theory, we're not looking at zombie or skeleton territory. However... Don't rule it out. Large undead. So, I mean, it's the environment that's throwing me off. There are some vampires that are not human, like the ogre mage vampire. But a vampire's an acquired. An acquired template usually, which means you would have a subtype normally, providing the entry was presented correctly in the books, which they're not always. I've tried to catch them where they are, but usually, like you become a vampire, right? You become augmented rather than just no subtype. Whereas skeleton or zombie, that's something that happens to you after you die. So you haven't being augmented. It's more of an inherited template generally. I mean, there's a lean towards Libris Mortis here. There are some undead beholders. Augmented is about taking a memory. No, so the way augmented works is if you are a thing and you are changed, so you're actually changed, then you become the new type and your subtype becomes augmented whatever you were. Augmented humanoid, augmented giant, augmented animal, whatever. So if you awaken an animal, it becomes magical beast and it is now augmented animal, right? If the change is something that would essentially happen while you're not alive, so either you were born that way or it happened after you died, then it's an inherited template. So that is something where for example, a fiendish animal is not an animal that became fiendish. It was always a fiendish animal, you know? So that in that case, if you apply that template to an animal, so if you say, oh, I want to make a fiendish rhinoceros, you take a rhinoceros, you apply the fiendish template, it stays as an animal or becomes a magical beast, depending on what the template says, but it does not become augmented animal. So the difference between undeads is like a vampire, you get bit while you're alive and turn into a vampire. So you are now undead, augmented humanoid. If you're a skeleton, it means you died, you ceased to be, your body was a corpse, it has been resurrected, even if it has a mind, right? So if you become a lich, I'd have to check the thing on this, but I'm pretty sure, it depends, do you become a lich while you're alive? It depends on the specifics of lichdom. I think you do. I think liches are augmented. So yeah, so a template is like, you know, generally, if you're just modifying a monster or a person to make something specific, it's usually they don't get the augmented thing. But if it's a way that they can be changed canonically in game, then you would. Most templates will tell you whether they're inherited or acquired. At least in 3rd edition. I don't know how 5th edition handles it. But the difference is that you retain certain things. So, you know, an elf that becomes a vampire is still treated as an elf for things that matter. So, for example, they would still be immune to sleep if you know, undead weren't already. Whereas if they were a skeleton elf, they wouldn't have that property because they're not an elf anymore. They're just a skeleton. So a vampire dragon would retain its fear aura. A skeleton dragon wouldn't. There you go, fun times. Did you pass today's one, Oring? Did you get it? All that blabbing about undead, I haven't been thinking of any guesses here. Man, I do feel like we're in Libris Mortis territory, but I cannot think what is a good undead. I don't think we'd be in zombie territory, but there are, like, in terms of large, because it's the chaotic evil part, and zombies generally aren't chaotic evil, but that doesn't mean that they 100% aren't. Kind of depends. Let's not have a repeat of the Howling Dragon. Yeah. I mean, I've noticed some zombies are presented as neutral on the good to evil, but some are evil. It depends. Like undead in general, I think neutral evil is the most common sort of undead alignment. But there are exceptions. Chaotic evil implies like something that doesn't live in society, right? It's not like a vampire, where a vampire would just, you know, masquerade. Very much a sort of lawful evil kind of thing. So it's something more. Generally, you think of chaotics as being a bit more aggressive. What is that? What is a fairly aggressive large undead? Is that mindless and neutral, but some others will say their creative evil methods so all are tainted. Yeah. It does depend. But wherever we are any somewhere. Any large mummies? Because I think they're usually chaotic evil. We've had a few mummies crop up. We fight ogre. So if Savage Species was the original, the revision is probably Sandstorm. I can't see the CR being huge on this though. I also don't necessarily see it being any. It could be any land underground. Could be any desert if it's something from Sandstorm as well. The Mummy Canny Sphinx. How large is a Canny Sphinx? That could be in the right CR range. Okay. Okay, higher than CR10, not in Sandstorm, not in deserts. I'm not convinced the mummified ogre would have an environment, but maybe. Higher than CR10 though. An ogre's like CR4 or something. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. What else do we have? There's a few of these I don't really know about. See, Beholders fall into the right size category, but was the Death Tyrant undead? Was higher than CR13 though. Holy shit! And we any underground land? Okay. So land and underground. It's not unusual for undead to have that as a category, but it means it's something fairly prolific. Higher than CR14. So we're something crazy strong. We're like something you'd fight tier 4. Jeez. What undead are we facing at that point? There's some dinosaur undead. Isn't there? There's no, there's only the Mega Raptor skeleton. Don't think that would be it. I don't think that would be it at all. Hmm. And you didn't get today's. So it is a tricksy one. Man, I don't want to rush it. I don't want to make wild guesses. I want to get back onto the winning streak. Just got to let my brain roll around the concept for a bit. It's the Bone Naga. Dragon Bone Golem. I think that's still a construct. am wondering how big the Death Knight is. Also, Deathbringer sounds like it would be pretty strong, right? We've got stuff like this. Larak the Death's Chosen. Hmm. Bane Dead. Bane Dead. Hmm. It's the high CR that's throwing me off. Is there a chance that this is some sort of... I'm not convinced it would be a Lich. Do we have any better guesses? Do we have any better guesses than a Lich? Problem is, a Lich. A Lich is definitely acquired. There's no way, because it would just be... If they're in properly, they should be augmented, right? Even Vlaakith. Even Vlaakith should be augmented humanoid. Need more information, but I don't know where we're going to get it. Tempted just to guess something around CR20 just to see if we're dealing with epic levels. Because that might actually help. Do we burn a guess just to get a better view of the CR range? What CR was the Hullithoin? That was pretty big, right? 15. Okay. Okay. So something comparable to the Hullithoin. You know what? I am tempted to give the Bone Naga a try. Okay. It's the fact that it's got underground as well, which kind of... It's large, it's undead. So large could be, I mean, it does kind of suggest quadrupedal or worm-like, you know? Or is the worm? No, the worm that walks is it vermin? Large, large, potentially underground. I mean, with the underground and land, usually you would expect it to be an undead that is interred, right? Not always, but I guess it doesn't hold true for the Beholder Death Tyrant. Too longer than usual to fail. It is a tricksy one. Because there's a lot of like interesting undead is a large category when you think about it, especially with like the number of templated undead, which only makes it even harder. There are some gassed NPCs, are they not? Or Google NPCs? Yeah, there's a Ghoul Cleric. Yinogu's Servant King of Ghouls. That's a wild one. Because Yinogu is the null god, right? Is that I don't want to pick that just to see what the hell its things are. um, let's have a look at the Ghoul Cleric. They are medium. Fine. And only level 4. Jesus, that's wild. Okay. I'm happy to step away from ghouls. Do any advanced morgues? Yeah. What was the advanced crypt thing? I get the feeling like it wasn't that far along. Oh man, I get the feeling this isn't something you can guess with one of the standard sort of undead keywords. Like the Holothorn, something that has a specific name. Damn it. Damn it! We're close though. None of these have hit Libris Mortis yet, which means it's something from Libris Mortis, but I'm like, God, I haven't looked through Libris Mortis for so long. What is in Libris Mortis that is large? Undead. Large, undead, and chaotic. Chaotic's the tricky one. chaotic. Chaotic undead. Something that will literally eat you the moment it sees you. Incredibly hostile. CR 15. Both land and underground. So it's not like natively underground. It's not like it's like a Drider or something like that. It's like something that could feasibly be found absolutely anywhere. There's no way I'm getting this. I'm dead ending pretty fucking hard here. God, I'm still leaning quadrupedal because of that chaotic, but the fuck would it be? Man, we might just have to. We might just have to make a little cheeky little guess here. I'm still thinking, what is a Death Fang, really? It's tiny. Absolutely fucking tiny. Fuck. We got one more. We got one more. It's gonna take a miracle. We've done it before, but unless I have a sudden epiphany, we are shit out of luck. Come on, think. Yeah, 15. Necrocarnum apply any alignment shift? You have a lot to go on here. Necronaut sounds like it would be big. Oh, there's so much here that we can think about. I don't think it's going to be a Necrocarnum zombie. I don't think so. The Deathlock Necromancer, I don't remember the Deathlock being particularly high CR. And I don't think he would have any underground land as his environment. I think he would just any for a Necromancer, so I'm not buying it. Do you remember what a Rotreaver Necrothane is? Necrophidius, I've not got a clue. Necropolitan is good. Necromental doesn't sound high enough in CR. Necronaut might be my best guess here. But see, the Necronaut or Necrocarnum zombies is where my brain is currently at. The Necrosis Carnex, though. That sounds like something that would be sufficiently high CR. And Karnak sounds chaotic, right? It implies a certain savage... Fuck it. Piss. Angel of Decay. God damn it, what book did we hit there? MM4. Angel of Decay. Libris Mortis 83. Hold right on. Man, I need to brush up on Libris Mortis. Page 83. And I opened it at literally page 85. I mean, it's a fairly forgettable sort of... The best way I can describe it is a shredded corpse. Yeah, the word angel is misleading, I guess. A mockery of a true angel, an angel of decay, may appear similar to an angelic outsider only by happenstance, not design. It is an undead creature powered by decay. When a healthy creature softens, crumbles, and liquefies in death, an indefinable essence wafts away like putrid steam of stagnant beach sand. Wow, someone fucking put their whole ass into this, didn't they? This decomposing flesh radiates an essential energy in its dissipation, and an angel of decay can extract the power resident therein. They speak common and abyssal, which suggests a demonic heritage. I'll be honest with you. Why does it speak abyssal? Especially with the alignment set to always chaotic evil. That has some severe sort of abyssal energy, doesn't it? Curious. Feels almost like it was designed as an abyssal encounter. Yeah, basically just fucking rots. It's just a sort of hideous rotting corpse. Why is it large? There's nothing to specifically hint at what it was in life. I wonder if it's meant... it is a weird one. Description doesn't make a lot of sense, if I'm honest with you, but sure. Oh, I think it's not saying it comes from the healthy creature softening crumbling. It feeds off that. So it just feeds off the energy that's given off when a creature putrefies. Huh. Well, there we go. It was another learning day. I hope we've all learned something today. Let's have a quick dip into Discord and see what went down. We'll start with Orange. Wow. Orange. Man, I never know how to pronounce your name because it's slightly different in Discord compared to Twitch. Is it just Orange? Just Orange will do. Cool. So you went. Let's have a look. Started with your elf sniper that you're enjoying at the moment, Death Giant. I've noticed you favor the Death Giant as a follow-up. Beholder Overseer. Interesting. Very interesting. I can tell you now almost every Beholder has Cold Hills as an environment, which is a good one to help you when you're tackling environment stuff. So if you've already got your yellow on any, you can probably safely avoid Beholders for the most part. Skeletal War Beast, that's a good one. Skeletal War Beast. Corpse Gatherer, yeah, good guess, but way too big. Hulking Corpse, that was a good one. Oh man, I didn't think of that. Hulking Corpse. That's right along the right sort of beats you want to be hitting as well. Large, undead, pretty high CR, chaotic evil, Libris Mortis. Very good. Bloodful Giant. Bloodhulk Giant. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Corpse Gatherer was partly just info gathering. I mean, it's corpse gathering. And then what is this? Banmuch, the Fiendish Minotaur Zombie. See, this is a good example of what I was saying of how the Fiendish template. In fact, this augmented monstrous humanoid. He shouldn't be augmented monstrous humanoid. What book is he from? He's from Libris Mortis. Fiendish Minotaur Zombie. That's a weird... Handbook. Fiendish Minotaur Zombie. Yeah, why have they given him augmented monstrous humanoid? Oh. There is a typo, but it's not the subtype. The typo is, I don't know how I've done this, he's a male Fiendish Minotaur vampire, not a male Fiendish Minotaur zombie. That's wild. That is bizarre. I mean, I guess after doing a whole book full of undead, my brain probably melted. I'll go fix that. That is weird. Okay, and then a Behir zombie. Yeah, that was never going to be high enough CR. And then the Death Tyrant. Good guess. Not right. Good effort. But this is, this is a good opportunity to catch all these mistakes, though. You'd be surprised how many mistakes I spot just by looking at this. But precisely because you can look at an entry like that and say something's not right there. Because of what we were just talking about with the augmented subtype. But now we know, and I can go fix it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there comes a certain point where you're like, okay, this is gonna be a bit too difficult to guess today. But that's part of the fun, right? Part of the fun is the learning. You have to accept that you're not gonna get every Beholdle right, you know? The best you can hope for is a good percentage, right? Better than 50%, which would be nice. But there's a lot of NPCs and stuff that are going to be hard to guess. So, sometimes the fun is just in getting close, and sniffing around the right sort of place. Like, we knew we were in Libris Mortis. It was just a matter of getting there. There's a moral victory to be had in having sufficient knowledge to be even to get close. Because that can be hard to do, Anyway, that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna head off. I've got to go eat, and then I'll be back around 6 p.m. for some video games with. It's gonna just me and Urks. Pel's not around, so I don't know what we're doing. We might be playing some Hunt, or Urks might bail, and we might just do some single player stuff. Find out at 6 o'clock, I guess. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.